Hi guys! Today I want to give new homeschooling parents tips on how to choose the right homeschool curriculum. If that sounds like it interests you, please stay tuned. Hi there. If this is the first time you have come across my channel, well, welcome. My name is Jatara and this is my channel, Mariposa Homeschool, where I like to talk about all things homeschool and motherhood. If that sounds like something that interests you, you can hit the subscribe button right down here. Okay, so today we're going to talk about choosing a homeschool curriculum. Um, and I just wanted to preface this video with two things. So one, the way that I used to choose homeschool curriculum is not the same as how I currently choose homeschool curriculum. This video is geared more towards new homeschooling parents. So if you're new to homeschooling and you need some tips on how you should choose curriculum, then this video is for you. 1 second. Okay, so we'll just get right into it. The first thing that I did was do a ton of research on homeschool and how curriculum is sold, where to find it, and things like that, because that was the most intimidating thing for me. So I came across a lot of language and lingo that I did not understand, and if that sounds like it is you, then I would definitely suggest researching your specific style of homeschool. And what I mean by that, there are different styles of homeschool, such as classical, Charlotte Mason, Montessori. Let me look, I have them written down here. There's unschooling, eclectic, Waldorf. So those are a few different homeschooling styles, and they just kind of categorize the way that you like to present the information to your child. And I know that, like, for example, unschooling is you kind of let your child lead you in their interests. So there isn't really like a super structured way of setting up any curriculum. You just kind of let the child lead in their educational journey. Montessori is very hands-on and learning through play and things like that. So there's so many different ways of styles of homeschooling. So I did a ton of research on that first. And the reason that I did that is because a lot of homeschool curriculums are set up geared towards those specific styles of homeschooling. So I did do a lot of research on the way that I thought I would like to homeschool my children. And I say thought because it does kind of change over time. So do some research on the different styles of homeschooling, find one or a couple that you're interested in, and I would say kind of find curriculum geared towards those styles that you like. Okay, so the second thing that I did was I just asked my kids what they wanted to learn about. So I was really excited to get started with homeschool, and I really wanted to jump into what they wanted to learn about, and not just, focus on what they were learning about in school at the time. We did take a bit of time deschooling, which I will put a description of that down below if you haven't heard that term before. But we did take a bit of time deschooling, and so I was ready to get back into getting our hands on some curriculum and just really getting back into what my kids were interested in. So that's what I did. I just asked them what they were interested in. Of course, at the time they were 3 and I wanted them to be excited for this new homeschooling journey and for them to be excited about starting homeschooling. So I wanted them to pick as much of the subjects that we could. So that's what I did. I just simply asked them what they wanted to learn about, and that's where we started. I still felt pretty overwhelmed with so much information and so many different companies that you can purchase homeschool curriculum from, so many different ways that you could create your own curriculum or not even have a curriculum if you don't want to. So I really spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos, and some of the channels that I watched were Life of the Mundane. I watched Grace and Grit. I watched, who else did I watch? I can't remember. I'll link some of them down below. Some of the ladies that I watched at the time don't even record anymore, but yeah, we don't watch Grace's Corner for homeschool curriculum, but we do watch homeschool. I'll link some of them down below, but I watched a lot of homeschool curriculum reviews. And just really trying to see, not for the review, but a lot of the reviews out there will also be flip throughs. So I was looking at flip throughs, reviews, seeing what others had to say about it, because sometimes the things that people were saying they didn't like, I was like, oh, that sounds like something I would like. So I would go check it out. And that was a huge help in deciding what curriculums that we wanted to start with in the very beginning. I would look at things such as price point and also how much time, to prepare the curriculum. I have always been a working homeschool parent, and I may have really liked the way a curriculum was set up, but it had way too many pieces and parts, and it would take us way too long for me to put together, or too much time on my end to get it set up for the lesson, or it might take way too much time for my child to complete the lesson. So that's not a route we would want to go down. I also may really have liked a curriculum and what it entailed, but it was extremely expensive. And for me, my expensive may not be expensive for anyone else. So expensive is relative, but may have been more than I wanted to spend on that specific subject or curriculum as a whole. So I wouldn't have gone that route. So things like price point, ease of use, or the time that it took to set up, how many pieces and parts would it take, because sometimes there's a child book, then there's a parent book, and then there's a test booklet, and then there's a CD. Like, there's so many pieces and parts to it, and for our family, what works for our family may not work for another. So those are things that I did take into consideration when looking up a curriculum as well. And finally, I did a lot of sample downloading, there's quite a few curriculums that will allow you to download the samples. So you will go on their website before you purchase the entire curriculum. They will allow you to download either like the first few chapters or the first, middle, and end chapters of the curriculum. You're able to download it, flip through it, and see if it's something that you would be interested in purchasing before you're able to purchase it. that is one reason that I was drawn to the Good and the Beautiful curriculum that is currently what we use now, is because the entire math and language arts curriculum is completely free. So you can download the entire thing, look through it. If you like it, great, you can continue to use it. If not, then you have absolutely nothing to lose. But that was definitely a big plus for us. So that, we were able to look through the sample pages and see if they were able to work for us. If there was no sample pages, then christianbook.com is a great resource for some of the homeschooling curriculum that I have purchased in the past, such as master books, or you can go on the master books website directly. That is a curriculum I have used in the past. But if you would go on christianbook.com, there is a spot in there that allows you to look through some of the pages. You don't necessarily download the sample pages, but you can just go through and look through some of the pages. It'll give you like the table of contents, the scope and the sequence, and just a few pages throughout the book. And then you're able to kind of get a better idea of what you're purchasing, as opposed to just looking at the cover of the book and reading like a review or something like that. And last but certainly not least, you just have to take all the information that you've gathered and trust your gut and purchase the curriculum. I wish I could tell you that it's always going to work out, but it will not. There'll be times that you purchase something and you're like, this is definitely not quite what I imagined it would be. Or maybe the curriculum is everything that you thought it would be. It just unfortunately does not work well with your child, or your child just doesn't like it. Or maybe it does take a little bit too much time and effort on your part. So there will be times where, you've done all of your research, you've looked at all the sample pages, you like the price point, you thought everything was going to work out, and unfortunately the curriculum just doesn't work, and it happens to everyone. On those circumstances, I definitely would not be discouraged. What I would do is one of two things. Depending on how much or what kind of the curriculum you have purchased, you may be able to return it. If it's like let's say for example, you purchased a textbook or something like that, you may be able to return that textbook. It's not written in, it's not used or damaged, no pages are ripped out or anything, and it hasn't been a very long time since you purchased it, you might be able to return those books or textbooks or whatever it is to the company that you purchased it from. Then you get your money back. If it is consumable and you've written in it, but you haven't gotten very far, you could actually sell your curriculum, which there's a huge market for. I know that when I first started homeschooling, I had no idea that a lot of the curriculum can be resold, and is done so quite often. Homeschool curriculum can be very expensive, and a lot of parents, this happens to when they purchase things and they end up not using it at all, or they only use a first few lessons and never get to it. And I know that there is a great Facebook marketplace for just homeschool curriculum, and I'm telling you, that stuff goes quick. So you can put a workbook that maybe has 1 or 2 pages completed, and someone will purchase it from you. That way you can take that money and use it towards purchasing new homeschool curriculum. I have had to do that plenty of times. One of those examples is when we first started homeschooling, I absolutely loved the idea of doing Story of the World for homeschool, or for history. I still love that idea, and I still would love to do Story of the World. It just was so much planning on my part, and I work 2 jobs, guys. I just can't do it. I absolutely loved the idea. I love all the activities. I purchased it and I was extremely discouraged because I never wanted to pick it up because I never wanted to prepare any of the lessons. I have quickly found out that I am a parent that needs curriculum perfectly packaged and put together for me. If someone hands it to me all done, we will do it. There is no such thing as a perfect curriculum. There will be pieces and parts that you may love in a curriculum, and there may be a couple lessons that you don't love. That's fine. You can just skip it. There may be the bulk of the curriculum that you love, but there's sections in every single lesson that you don't want to do, like coloring. For some reason, my son is not a huge art. He doesn't like painting and coloring and that type of art, and that's fine as well. And The Good and the Beautiful has a huge art component to it. We just skip that. My daughter loves it. So you want to be able to, you want the curriculum to work for you. You don't want to work for the curriculum. So you take what you need from it and then just disregard everything that you don't need. And that's fine because this is your homeschool and you're allowed to do that. Okay guys, that is it. Those are all my tips for choosing a homeschool curriculum when you are a new homeschooling parent. I left a lot of resources down in the description box down below for you guys. I also have an older video that I did. I'll link it. Actually, it's up here. I always do that. Link it up there. And I'll put it at the beginning of the video as well for you, and in the comments down here for you to reference curriculum and kind of what I was using in the past for both of my kids, just to kind of give you an idea. And I will see you guys in the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And we'll see you next time.